Shocking revelations, royal courage, and messages of hope. 3 months after the shocking announcement of his cancer, King Charles III breaks his silence. In this exclusive report, discover the behind the scenes of his battle, his messages to the nation, the reactions of the royal family, and the historical implications of this ordeal. Subscribe, share, and leave a comment to support the king during this historic ordeal. On February 5, the United Kingdom held its breath. Buckingham Palace issued a sober but historic statement. King Charles III, recently ascended to the throne after a 7-decade wait, had contracted cancer. The shock was brutal and unexpected. In the midst of the modernization of the British monarchy, in a troubled global context, and as the royal institution attempted to redefine itself under his reign, the sovereign faced one of the most feared battles, that of illness. 3 months later, in July 2025, the king finally gave an update. And what he is sharing today goes far beyond simple medical reports. It is a lesson in resilience, humanity, and royal duty. From the moment the illness was announced, speculation flooded the media. What type of cancer? What stage? Was it serious? The British, like observers around the world, tried to decipher the silences in the palace, the shifty glances, the rare public appearances of the king. During these weeks of doubt, Queen Camilla discreetly ensured continuity, while Prince William was entrusted with more responsibilities. A monarchy in transition seemed once again to be walking a tightrope, torn between tradition and modern realities. Today, Charles III speaks out. And his words, rare but weighty in meaning, have deeply moved. It was in an open letter addressed to his subjects that the sovereign chose to break the silence. A moving handwritten letter in which he thanks the nation for its invaluable support, evokes the intense but encouraging treatments, and, above all, shares a profound reflection on the fragility of life. This ordeal reminded me of the value of service, faith, and family, he writes. The emotion is evident in every line, every word carefully weighed. Because beyond the king, it is Charles the man who is revealed. A father, a husband, a grandfather. The man who saw his youth exposed in the tabloids, who endured a painful marriage to Diana, who waited until the age of 73 to accede to the throne, today reveals himself as he is, vulnerable, yet dignified. Those close to him attest to his quiet strength, his ability to show humor despite fatigue, and his unwavering commitment to his duties. He insists on reading official documents every morning, even during chemotherapy, confides a source close to Buckingham. The impact of this revelation extends beyond the kingdom's borders. Commonwealth leaders have sent messages of support, as have anonymous letters from around the world. At Windsor, letters are piling up from all walks of life: children, the elderly, the sick, veterans. All touched by this king who, despite his privileges, is going through a universal trial. Cancer, that heavy and chilling word, suddenly becomes an unexpected link between the crown and the people. Camilla, his wife, plays a key role in this moment of his life. Present, discreet, and attentive, she embodies the king's emotional strength. She supports him through the most difficult times, coordinates his medical appointments, while also fulfilling certain official obligations. This tandem, formed in the shadows for decades, finds a new dimension here, a couple facing illness together, united by the ordeal. Prince William, meanwhile, is taking an increasingly central role, frequently appearing at official events, representing his father at major ceremonies. He shows that the next generation is ready. His measured and dignified demeanor is reassuring. He is not yet king, but he acts as the crown prince with remarkable maturity. His wife, Kate, herself recovering from abdominal surgery, remains in the background, but her aura continues to radiate over the monarchy. Queen Elizabeth II often recalled that the crown rests on resilience. Today, Charles III embodies its essence. Despite the pain, the side effects, and the medical uncertainties, he perseveres. Certainly, his public appearances are less frequent, but each one is scrutinized with a new intensity. The smile he offers, the gesture of his hand, his sometimes weakened voice. Everything becomes a sign, a message, a call for unity. Behind the scenes, the king's doctors work with extreme caution. The exact nature of the cancer remains a closely guarded secret, out of respect for his privacy. However, reliable sources suggest that the treatments have led to a notable improvement in his condition. No remission has been announced, but stabilization. The king continues his care, while keeping a watchful eye on the affairs of the kingdom. This illness, in a strange twist of fate, paradoxically brought Charles III closer to the British people. He, whom some accused of coldness and distance, suddenly became more accessible. Suffering has this effect: it humanizes. It erases titles and reminds us of reality. A sick king also means a worried, but united, nation. Popular support, according to many analysts, has never been so strong since his coronation. In schools, students made greeting cards. Candles were lit in churches. Songs were composed. In pubs, people discussed his health with respect. It is an entire country that, behind its traditions and legendary British humor, expresses a deep affection for its monarch. This illness, in a strange twist of fate, paradoxically brought Charles III closer to the British people. He, whom some accused of coldness and distance, suddenly became more accessible. Suffering has this effect: it humanizes. It erases titles and reminds us of reality. A sick king also means a worried, but united, nation. Popular support, according to many analysts, has never been so strong since his coronation. In schools, students made greeting cards. Candles were lit in churches. Songs were composed. In pubs, people discussed his health with respect. It is an entire country that, behind its traditions and legendary British humor, expresses a deep affection for its monarch. History may remember this period as a turning point. The reign of Charles III began in the imposing shadow of Elizabeth II. It continues today in an unexpected light, that of personal courage in the face of adversity. He is no longer simply the green king of ecology or the champion of the arts, but a man confronted with finiteness, fear, and suffering, who nevertheless chooses to serve. Harry's silence from California is intriguing. Officially, he has called his father several times and reportedly expressed his support. But no recent visit has been made public. Family tensions remain palpable, although the illness has temporarily softened some edges. Time will tell whether the ordeal can reunite a family often torn apart by scandal. As we look to the future, one question looms large: will Charles III continue to reign in full health, or will this illness mark the beginning of an accelerated transition to William? For now, the king stands firm. He governs, he speaks, he hopes, and he inspires. In the gardens of Highgrove, among the rosebushes he loves so much, and the benches where he likes to meditate, Charles III still finds peace. Where flowers grow slowly, where birds sing despite the rain, the king thinks about tomorrow. An uncertain tomorrow, but one he faces with faith and responsibility. And you, faced with this ordeal that is shaking the British monarchy, do you believe that King Charles III will emerge stronger from this battle against illness, to the point of forever redefining the role of the sovereign in the modern world?